Hey guys, it's Jenny Silver. We are doing live California EDD and assorted California things Q&A tonight. I'm about to spill a cup of hot tea for the second time. And I'm running my own ad in the background for you. So I got to turn that off. Okay. All right, you guys. So the first thing I want to talk about today before I get into questions is that many of you are asking. I put out a very detailed video on California EDD as well as the Department of Labor and the current status of what is going on with overpayment waivers and overpayment blanket waivers. Now, many of you are undergoing the overpayments process, meaning that the EDD paid you more benefits than you actually should have been paid. For some of you, it was due to submitting information that may not have been 100% accurate due to error. For others of you, you may have not understood instructions from the EDD, and others, it may have been a complete mistake on the EDD's part. There's a wide variance of reasons why people may be overpaid, but the EDD at this point in time is required to collect those overpayments, and they do issue you a notice. Once you receive that notice, then you can undergo the appeals process. They send along a form with it asking if you want to appeal, you need to send back the form. On the bottom of the appeals form, it also has a checkbox that references if you would like to apply for a waiver. Now, what we have in this last week, which has developed, is that the Department of Labor has issued new guidance to the state unemployment departments regarding overpayment waivers. They have clearly stated that this guidance and these changes and these waivers are optional. States have the option to utilize these waivers in either their entirety or with some groups of claimants or not at all. Now, California EDD, I need water, you guys, I'm sorry. All right, now California EDD has issued a very basic press release on this. I'm going to share my screen, and all of this I've already covered in a video. So Hattie, if you can link my most recent video that says Department of Labor guidance, then link that in the chat. But the EDD issued a very vague press release basically addressing that, yes, they are aware that the Department of Labor has issued this new guidance, and they issued this statement the day that the guidance was given. So good job to the new director on that for communicating clearly here. But they don't state one way or the other if they're going to be employing all 7 ways that a blanket waiver has been approved by the Department of Labor. So they state here, EDD will fix this. EDD will carefully review the 40-page federal directive and provide further information in the future about how these scenarios will apply. So what that means is that no changes have been made yet with California EDD with regards to waivers. They simply stated that they received the document and that they're going to be reviewing it. They have not stated that they will be implementing all of these scenarios for blanket waivers. Now, aside from that, the blanket waivers that are referenced in the Department of Labor document cover 7 different groups of claimants. They do not cover all scenarios. So watch the video on that topic because it's quite lengthy to dive into all 7 of those groups. They're quite detailed and very specific. So watch the video that Hattie hopefully has linked in the chat, where I go through the document and talk about each scenario that may be eligible for a blanket waiver. And a blanket waiver means that if the unemployment department chooses to utilize these waivers because it's their choice, then they can waive overpayments for a group of claimants at once, meaning that you would not need to apply for this. So you can watch that video, and then the next step is to wait and see if EDD chooses to implement any or all of these waiver scenarios. Now, they are already implementing an overpayment waiver on a case-by-case basis for individuals who have severe financial hardship, and they do define that as earning no more than, the figure is roughly $1,300 per month up to about $16,000 per year. And you must have had a non-fraudulent case, and you must have had no fault and no false statement provided on your own in order to receive those benefits. So unfortunately, that does mean that if you were someone that input the wrong number accidentally because you didn't cross-reference your tax return, let's say you estimated what your income was, then no, you were still at fault by those definitions and unfortunately would not qualify for that waiver. So watch that video, please, because it's an important one for those of you that currently are undergoing the overpayments process. Now, I want to state before I get into questions, many people are asking me, does this mean that I should not appeal my overpayment, my disqualification? Should I just wait? No, do not wait. Still continue with your appeals process as usual. You need to file that appeal within 30 days. Otherwise, you miss the opportunity. So do not wait. Still file your appeals. But if something changes and a blanket waiver does actually end up applying to you, then that would be great. But you don't want to miss that opportunity to appeal and have your case heard in front of a judge and hopefully have it overturned or at least reduced. All right, I'm going to get a drink of water and then I'm going to get into the questions. Okay, first question. Where did it go? Well, Rambo, hello. Debbie Hall, hello. Okay, Jojo, hello. Okay, Debbie, can you review the latest release by EDD in slow, logic, and detail as parts are vague? Okay, so hopefully what I just covered explains that. Click the link to the video that Hattie just posted, and you'll be able to see it in slow, clear detail in that video. The press release specifically that EDD released was vague. There is no new information in there really to pick apart. The thing that is complicated is the Department of Labor document. So the EDD has not committed to blanket waivers yet. They merely were stating in that press release that they have the document and they will be reviewing it. Okay, Bonnie, hello. Sharnette, hello. And that's my moderator. Okay, scrolling down. Okay, Sharnette, Ginny, are HOA fees included in the California Mortgage Relief Program? The Mortgage Relief Program seems to be, if your HOA fees are rolled into your mortgage, if your lender did that in some magical way, then it would all be under your mortgage that you have taken out. And in that case, then it would be covered. But no, if it's a separate HOA fee, it doesn't seem to state in the literature, we call it in the guidance, it doesn't specify how to obtain help for specific separate HOA fees. So I could not find that in there. So to my knowledge, it is not covering separate HOA fees, but I could be wrong. You can see the documentation linked in my mortgage assistance, homeowners assistance, most recent video on my channel homepage. But I do not believe that it's in there. Okay, Jojo Dukes at 7:05. I hope you have good news for us about the California rental program. The situation with those people running the program is horrible. It went from bad to worse. No one can get payments. I don't have any news with that, unfortunately. No. I've reached out several times to them to try to get some sort of follow-up recently. My contact has not replied to me. So next I'm going to try a few other contacts that I have. But unfortunately, there's no new developments with that right now. I know that many people are waiting on those payments. Many people are stuck in the application process and have been since the program first rolled out months ago. So if that is you, I want you to contact your assembly member. Hattie's going to drop the link on how to locate your assembly member. Follow that link, type in your zip code, and then you'll be able to click through to their website and contact them. Now, once you contact them, let them know the problems that you're having. They may not, in most cases, I don't believe that they can push them through with getting payments faster. They might be able to, but what it's going to do is it's going to alert their office that this is a big problem. The more that we have California state legislatures speaking out on this in the California Senate and Assembly, the better the chances are at getting that program audited and at getting that program fixed. So please don't skip contacting your assembly member or your California state senator if you're having trouble with that program. Okay, Preston, just finding out recently that this self-employed verification is for real. I'm a big stupidhead who has already been scammed by both text and email, so I ignored what was sent to me. It is definitely real. I'm really sorry to hear that. Yes, there's a lot of scammers, unfortunately. The way that you know that this is real is it comes through your UI Online dashboard. So you're going to log into UI Online, and then in the upper left-hand corner where it says, I forget the exact wording of it. I'll pull it up on screen so you know what it looks like. Let me share my screen. Okay, so if you see this right here, action required, you have new messages, you need to upload documents. If you see that message, click it. It is extremely important that you click it. Now, some individuals are receiving a notification via mail, text message, or in email, or a letter in UI Online, and others are only seeing that button. So it's extremely important that you check UI Online, click that button, and upload your documents. Now, if you missed your deadline, because it sounds to me like you ignored it and now you perhaps have missed your deadline, you are going to want to call EDD right away. Do not wait. Call them tomorrow and ask them if you can upload documents right then over the phone. They might be able to send the upload link back to your UI Online dashboard. Or extend the deadline for you. So call in right away and ask them. And Hattie, can you drop the Claimer link? If you need a fast way to call in, then Claimer is great, but it's a paid service. I do recommend calling in as opposed to contacting your assembly member on that one because it's so time sensitive. So try to call in and get a hold of them. Okay, scrolling down. Mariella, hi Jenny. Can I attach extra documents to the appeal form to make my statement stronger? Is the appeal process over the phone, and what type of questions do they normally ask? You can send in, you can send in your documents of whatever it is that you're trying to appeal or change, improve. And you will also then have those documents presented to the judge. So yes, make sure that you have strong documentation on hand and ready to go. I'm not sure exactly what you're appealing. Otherwise, I would advise on documents. Now, what questions are they going to ask? It's going to depend on what you are appealing. So you're going to need to let me know in the chat, Mariella, give me more details on what it is you're appealing. Were you overpaid? Were you denied benefits? Was it something else? Let me know exactly what it is because they're going to ask you about that specific concern. With appeals, if you haven't done this yet, then go to my channel homepage and you're going to search for appeal. And then you're going to find several videos where I'm doing a Zoom Q&A with an appeals attorney from Pershing Square Law Firm. They're really informative and very helpful because it's information coming directly from an attorney that works with EDD appeals. So it's much better than a random person on the internet telling you what to do. So go watch those to help you prepare. Okay, Teresa at 707. Is it true that EDD is offering blanket forgiveness? No, that is not accurate. What is happening is that the Department of Labor has issued new guidance where they address 7 different scenarios, very specific scenarios where states can choose to offer blanket overpayment waiver forgiveness. The states now have to decide independently if they're going to utilize any or all of these blanket waivers. California EDD has not stated whether or not they will be employing these blanket waivers. What they stated it was in a press release on February 7th, which was the day that the guidance was issued. And all they stated is that they reiterated that that they wrote in to Congress calling for waiver for certain overpayments for non-fraudulent, non-fault cases. And then they stated that EDD will review the 40-page federal directive and provide further information. So no, they have not committed to utilizing those blanket waivers yet. But California EDD will most likely utilize all of the waivers that Department of Labor has outlined, but they are very specific waivers. EDD already wants to, they expressed this in a letter to Congress with the other states. They filed like a joint letter to Congress last week, and I did a video on it. They have stated that they want to have non-fraudulent, non-fault PUA, overpayment, and pandemic-related unemployment payments waived with blanket waivers, but we need to wait and see exactly how they respond to this specific list that Department of Labor issued. So no, they have not issued blanket waivers yet. Debbie Hall says, maybe remind all of the free internet program from the federal government, $30 a month. Debbie, I still don't know I don't know the name of that program. So you're going to have to share the name with me. I know you said it last time, but I don't remember it because my brain is full. I'm sorry. Chris says that maybe that in the California paid sick leave was signed recently. Okay, so this is something that I'm going to have to share my screen with and read it with you because I have not read it yet today. This is a press release that was published today. So I did have it on deck to share with you, but I have not read through it myself yet. So I'm not prepared to answer questions on it, but I did want to share that with you. So today on February 9th, Governor Newsom has signed paid sick leave extension, expanded relief for small businesses, and historic package to promote innovation and entrepreneurship. Okay, so what we have, let's see if we can get to the specifics down here, because I don't care how many billions of dollars it is, right? You guys care exactly what applies to you. Okay, so we have here, this is the tax relief. These are cuts for businesses. This is the sick leave. Okay. Small businesses employing 25 or fewer workers are exempt from the legislation. So in order to qualify for this, you have to be at a business that is utilizing this provision, and small businesses with less than 25 employees are exempt from this. This is retroactive to sick leave taken beginning January 1st, 2022. Let's see. Employees can continue to have access to up to 80 hours of COVID-19 supplemental paid sick leave through September 30th, 2022, which may be used by employees who have been advised to quarantine, those caring for COVID-impacted family members, attending a COVID-19 vaccination appointment, and more. Okay, and it's retroactive to January 1st, 2022. All right, so if you are able to claim that, then that is coming your way. That was officially signed today. Okay, great. I will put out a larger video on this after I've read it in greater detail and put all the pieces together for you in a more simplified way. But I'm going to drop the link to this in the chat for those of you that need this information. So you can see it right now, but be on the lookout for a longer video to come. All right, let me whoa, look at all that chaos on my screen. Okay. That's what she said. Debbie Hall. Sorry, Debbie. There is a lot. This like nighttime slot, you guys, it's not working out so well. Chris P. Hey, Jenny, I need to show work history docs for PUA. Was on UI with PUC and unaware of PUA included. Last job was in 2017. Need work documents around 2019 through 2020. Didn't do 2019 taxes. What should I do? Okay, so let's see. After I get a drink of this. I still have a cough and like a weird throat from having COVID, you guys. That was like over a month ago. It's still there. Okay, so if you were on UI, your last job was in 2017. How did you qualify? If you were on UI, then you would have needed to have earnings within the last 18 months prior to collecting that unemployment. So I am unsure how you might have qualified exactly but I'm not sure your exact start date for PUA. Now, if you did not do 2019 income taxes and you're trying to show documentation, you're not going to have work history on that to show. You're not going to have income on that to show. So that's out. The next thing that you're going to have to show is that you were trying to get work, and that the pandemic got in the way with your plans to resume employment or self-employment. So you're going to have to prove that. Chris, I'm going to need more information on exactly what you were doing, what job you did, what kind of work you were trying to find. Did you have a job that was promised but canceled? And were you in fact collecting UI or PUA? Because I'm not sure how you would have qualified for UI if your last job was in 2017. So try to give me a little more detail and I'll be on the lookout for your comment. Hi, Snoop Y. Thank you, Hattie. All right, Zumba by Sydney, 718. They said my claim is put on hold because of irregular reporting. What does that mean? Regular reporting. I'm guessing, I'm not certain. Irregular, I've never heard that. That's unusual. I'm guessing that the reporting that they're referring to is coming from your employer in their payroll reports and taxes that they must submit to the EDD, or by a statement made by your employer, because they would not call reporting on your end is called certification, your biweekly certifications, also known as your continued claim forms. So I'm guessing that it's something on your employer's end. Regardless, you're going to need to call into the EDD to clarify exactly what is going on with that. So if you need help calling in, Hattie can drop the claimer link, which will help you to call in faster, or you can contact your assembly member if you actually can't get through and you don't want to utilize that service. Okay. Unity Planet, can I hire you to review my materials I'm preparing to upload? I really need someone and I'm happy to pay. No, unfortunately, I don't do one-on-one EDD consultations. The only way that I help claimants is here in live streams as well as in the comments on videos. So if you want to type in what you're sending in the chat box and give me an overview of that, then I can let you know my opinion. Melrose Honey, hi Melrose Honey. You missed me. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. How are you, Melrose Honey? I hope you're doing well. Okay, Debbie Hall. Is that white thing back there an Apple computer? Did you switch from Windows? Oh, no. No, it's not an Apple. It's HP right there. But you can't see it because your little name is there. No, it's not an Apple. And I'm a photographer. I'm the only photographer that probably does not use Apple. It's PC. Okay, Michael Holland. Hi, Michael. I hope you're doing well. Scrolling down, Daniel Costa at 722. On February 2nd, I helped a friend who had PUA to submit his documents. On 2/7, he received an approval letter. I'm wondering why yours is taking so long. Are you talking about me, about mine? Many people who had to submit documentation for PUA, work history verification documents, have not heard back. There's a big group of people that haven't heard back. What most of those people are finding when they have been waiting for several months, maybe since November, is that they call into the EDD. EDD tells them over the phone, yes, you were approved, but we're not sending out letters. We're just approving things and not letting you know. That has been the case for, I can't count how many of my subscribers have told me that, but it's a lot. So it's kind of a situation where in general, you can call in and check on it to get peace of mind if you have not yet heard, but it's kind of I would assume no news is good news because the EDD will most definitely let you know if you have been disqualified. If they did not accept your documentation, they will let you know. They are timely about collecting overpayments, issuing that you were disqualified notices, etc. They are not timely, however, about letting you know that you were approved in many cases. Okay, how about for renters? I'm assuming you're talking about rental relief, California rental relief with housing is key. Housing is Key is the California Rental Relief Program. I do not have any updates with this. Many people are stuck in that pending status, waiting on their payments, waiting to be approved. And it unfortunately, the program is not operating well. If you are stuck and you're not receiving those payments or a good process in terms of getting approved, then I want you to contact your California Assembly member. And Hattie's going to drop the link in the chat on how to find your Assembly member. Contact them. There's a slight chance they may be able to help you get your payments faster because they have done that with EDD. They might be able to kind of intercede there and get things done faster. But they may not, in most cases, may not be able to actually help you get paid faster. But if the California Assembly members hear constant calls about this problem, they are most definitely going to bring it up in the Assembly and in the California Senate, and they're going to start putting pressure on that program, which may eventually lead to an audit of the program and fixes with the program. So please contact your Assembly member on that. Okay, Terry, I still have not heard back from EDD after supplying all my business information. I supplied 2 weeks after you did. What should I do? All my payments received from them still say paid. Okay, Terry, so hopefully you heard the answer that I just gave a few minutes ago. You can call into the EDD to check on this. Most likely they will tell you that you have been approved and they just didn't send you the notification. So you can do that if you want peace of mind. But as long as everything still says paid, you have not received an overpayment notice, then you should be good. But you may want to, hello, Michael, you may want to put that in. Thank you for that. All right, Ali at 721 just wanted to claim first comment. Oh, Ali, you're not the first comment, my friend. You're in the chat box. There are no comments on this live stream yet until after it goes live, but good to see you and thank you. You're very welcome for all the help. Okay, Michael, thank you. Love this channel. I appreciate that. Mr. Richards, hello. All right, Sandy, California at 724. My benefits exhausted 3 weeks ago. Any new extended benefits? No, there are no new extended benefits. PUA is over. PEUC extension is over. FedEd extension is over. Nothing pandemic related is continuing on right now. If you're a regular unemployment claimant, meaning that you were previously an employee, not self-employed, the next round of benefits that you would qualify for would be if your benefit year, 12 months after your claim start date, comes to an end and you qualify for a brand new claim. In order to qualify for a brand new claim, you would have had to have at least $1,400 of earnings in your highest earning quarter within the last 12 months. Has to be since the start of your last claim. So that's the only way to collect more benefits. Okay, let me see. Nope. Okay. Daniel Costa. Okay, I already did that one. Humanity Interrupted, 725. They stopped my benefits in December of 2020 and still have never fixed them, let alone helped me in any aspect. Okay, so if they stopped your benefits in December of 2020, I'm wondering if it was due to ID verification, because at the end of December, like right before New Year's, the EDD required ID verification to be done in order to continue to receive benefits. So I'm wondering if maybe that's why. Perhaps you missed that. In any case, I want you to contact your assembly member. Once again, Hattie's going to drop that link so that it's fresh in the chat. Contact your assembly member, click the link, locate your assembly member, and either fill out a contact form through their website or call into them. You're going to let them know that the problem that you're having, and they're going to work as a liaison between you and the EDD so that you don't have to call the EDD. They're going to contact them on your behalf and kind of help you in your claim with them. Okay, Charnette, thank you for the quick response. I also had, you're very welcome. You had the merging of mortgage and HOAs, but was confused. Okay, so I do believe, but you do need to double check the documentation with this, specifically with the program. But I believe that if it's all wrapped into one, as long as the mortgage relief is being dispersed to that one lender who is covering your mortgage, then I believe that it will cover that. If it's separate, however, I don't believe that that is included. Okay. Bass. After a drink of my tea. I appealed. I had a hearing today. I received a letter that I was not eligible for unemployment. What should I do next? Okay, so if you had a hearing today, you had a hearing, but you also received a letter. If you had the hearing today, did they give you your decision today from the appeal hearing? And the appeal hearing decision is that you are ineligible? If so, you can appeal the appeal, and then that's kind of your last stop. If your appeal was denied, the judge ruled against you, you can appeal that decision, and the California Appeals Board will look at the judge's decision once more. But that's the only other thing that you can do with that. I would recommend contacting Pershing Square Law Firm and trying to get a consultation from them. They do this for free, and even if you don't end up utilizing their services, you're able to still get their initial take on your claim, ask a few questions, etc., through a free consultation. So I would recommend them if you need some additional help. If you aren't going to contact an attorney, you're going to appeal that decision through the California Appeals Board. But unfortunately, it sounds like you, in fact, did not qualify. And appealing that decision that was already made by the judge might not actually get it overturned. I can't say. Okay, you're chatting with each other. Michael Hill sent in your 2019 1040 and your Schedule C today, but not in proper order. And I only sent the first page of Schedule C. Will that be a problem with EDD, do you think? So the second page of Schedule C is where they itemize all of your deductions, etc. So they don't necessarily need to see that. So I do think that if you sent in your full 1040, then that includes the full Schedule C. That will have everything that they need in it. But if you only sent the first page of the Schedule C, I can't say 100% that they are going to accept just that first page. The remainder of the Schedule C should not necessarily be needed, though, because that's going to show your business deductions itemized, etc. So I can't say for certain. I would think that it would be approved because that page 1 of Schedule C has everything that they need on it. So I hope it is. Okay, Melrose Honey. I was given a plus up $1,100, but EDD took it from something I took care of in 2008. The IRS took it. I'm really sorry to hear that. Yes. Yeah, I'm sorry that was garnished. Okay, Preston, 727. The government wiped out my livelihood with their shutdowns and restrictions. My living is in working events and large crowds. 2019 took time off from full-time employment and was paid in cash. What can I do? Okay, so if you're trying to send in 2019 documentation, you're required, even if you're paid in cash, you're required to file income tax returns on self-employment income if you earn a net income of $400 or more in that year. So as long as you earned over $400, then you're required to file that income tax return. Now, the problem with claiming unemployment benefits if you did not file an income tax return is that you are claiming government benefits that are based on taxation without having paid the taxes. Now, PUA is a different circumstance because unlike payroll taxes, which go directly into an unemployment program, self-employed do not pay into the unemployment system, which is why we are not usually eligible for unemployment benefits. So there's a problem here because I'm worried that you guys are going to be issued overpayment notices if you didn't file your taxes. Now, Will that actually happen? I can't say for certain if the EDD will be cross-referencing with the IRS on this. But my number one recommendation I'm going to give just as a safety precaution, which you may or may not take, is that you file your income taxes for year 2019 if you made over $400 in net self-employment income. Why? Because then you will, yes, have to pay those taxes that you do in fact owe. Then you will be square with the IRS, and those penalties and additional taxes will stop accruing. But then you can send in that documentation to the EDD, and you will not have to overpay all of your unemployment benefits. So you're going to have to kind of weigh the risk and the benefits there with doing that. Now, if you don't choose to take my advice with that and you don't file your income taxes, then what can you send in? You can send in, let's see, what did you do? Working events in large crowds. So you would have had some sort of communication with whoever was coordinating the event. So if you had contracts, if you had invoices that you sent out, if you had a payment processor system, like if you used like Stripe or something like that to collect credit card payments, no, you're paid in cash. If you sent out invoices, if you had emails back and forth with your clients or coordinators for these events, if you had any marketing materials such as flyers with your business name on it, advertising these events, etc., you're going to send all that information over as well. In addition to that, write and send a signed affidavit, as well as have some of your customers or clients or whoever was coordinating the events create a signed affidavit as well. Okay, Bear 83 Tiger, 7:27 p.m. So do people still get to refund if last name misspelled? Oh, my friend, what are we talking about? Do people still get to refund if last name is spelled? Bear Tiger, I don't know what you mean. You're going to have to give me more clarification and ask again, give me more details, and then I'll give it a try. PUA Mariella at 7:27. PUA benefits, all 2021 were disqualified. Okay, so you are referring back to what questions are they going to ask you in the appeal? That's what your original question was. So all of your 2021 PUA was disqualified. I'm guessing that that was based on you either not sending in work history verification documents or on the documents that you did send in being disqualified. I'm going to need to know what you sent in, what your work history was, so that I can give you more information on this. Okay, got it. Melrose Honey is chatting. Scrolling down. Bear Tiger says tax refund with lots of exclamation marks. Do people still get a tax refund if the last name is misspelled? Misspelled on your income taxes, you need to appeal that. You need to have all of your income tax information properly listed. I can't say if they will issue you a refund if your information is not correct. If they caught it and they noticed that discrepancy, then I would anticipate it to be a problem and possibly cause you to not receive that payment. So I want you to try to appeal that and get it corrected. Mark V or Mark the 5th, I don't know which one, but I'm going to adjust my shirt. According to the press release, EDD is not collecting overpayments of federal benefits at this time. Instead, EDD is continuing to verify claimant eligibility before any overpayment notices would be an issue. So I did videos on this press release as well, and I did a video before this press release went out with that information. They are collecting certain overpayments that were already being processed that are not related to pandemic unemployment, such as PUA, PEUC. But all pandemic related benefits, they're not collecting the overpayments, but they are issuing the disqualifications right now and the overpayment notices are still going out, but they aren't actively collecting them. They are allowing people to submit additional documentation and undergo the appeals process and submit requests for waivers, but there is no blanket waiver applied. There is new guidance from the Department of Labor where they address 7 different types of claimants that are very specific, and the states may choose if they decide to implement those blanket waivers. California has not yet stated, the EDD has not yet stated that they will be employing all of those blanket waivers, which are for very specific types of claimants, not everyone. So we are waiting on that development. Mark V says, in other words, even though our verification was approved, we could still get an overpayment notice. No, if your verification was approved, then the only reason why you would receive an overpayment notice would be if the EDD overpaid you in some way. If your verification is approved, then those payments will be approved. You won't be overpaid for those. There are, however, other ways that the EDD could have overpaid you, such as if you provided your gross self-employment income as opposed to your net self-employment income. That would be an overpayment. So if your documents were approved, then you won't be overpaid on that basis. Gotta scroll back up, you guys. Find my spot. Okay, did that one. I did that one. Hello, Bjorn. Chris says, referring to the program the previous person said about $30 incentive for broadband internet. It's called the ACP Affordable Connectivity Program. Thank you for sharing that. If you are trying to find discounted broadband internet, Chris tells us this is the ACP Affordable Connectivity Program. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Okay, scrolling down. Melrose Honey, go to Moose Mobile, pay $50 for Wi-Fi. Thank you for sharing that tip. Thank you, Hammerhead Shark. Daniel, okay. He's a florist. He uploaded his 2019 tax return as a PDF and copies of emails. Okay, I think you're referring to the claimant that was approved very quickly. Okay, Sandy at 7:38. Hi, Jenny. I do Uber Eats since 2019. I have my 2019 and 2020 taxes. I did collect PUA. Besides my taxes, is there any other paperwork I need to submit? So if you have taxes, that is the number one thing that the EDD will want and is best to send in. It's gone through a government agency. Taxes are going to show all of your self-employment income through, what did you do? Uber Eats. So 2019 and 2020, send in your full tax returns as a PDF. So send in 2 documents. You don't need to submit other paperwork, but if you choose to submit other paperwork, you can also submit things like your dashboard from those programs and anything else associated with that. But make sure you send those taxes in. Those are the best thing to send. All right, did that one. Melrose, you didn't do 2019 taxes. Okay. I think you're just chatting with other viewers. All right, Sarissa at 7:39. Have you heard of anyone being successful sending in a business plan? I was working on starting my business, but hadn't signed a lease or anything. I have not had a lot of people approved for sending in a business plan. That doesn't mean that they will be fully disqualified. It means that many of those people have to undergo a hearing in front of a judge so that the judge can weigh in as a third party and say that, yes, they believe them, that they didn't just kind of randomly create something haphazardly when they didn't actually have any intention. That's not to say that people aren't getting approved for that, but the majority of the comments I'm hearing on sending in a written business plan is that they are not getting approved on that alone. So if you're sending in a business plan, I want you to try your best to scrape together all the other documentation that you can. Now, you say that you had not signed a lease or anything, but did you take out a business license? Did you file for an EIN number or a seller's permit? Did you start a website? Did you sign up for an account on a platform like Shopify or Etsy or anything like that that's like a third party where you're starting to build any sort of, did you make like a business PayPal account? Did you have a Facebook page for your business? Did you file a doing business as name? Anything like that. Try the best that you can to collect other documents. If you can't collect anything else like that, then I want you to get a signed affidavit from yourself explaining everything, as well as a signed affidavit from someone else who can vouch for you that you were starting these plans. Okay, you just bought a domain name as well. You weren't able to implement your plan. Yes, send over the proof of that domain name. That is good documentation. Send that over right away along with all of the other documents that I just mentioned. Okay, Mr. Richards says, please like the video. Thank you, I appreciate that. Debbie Hall, fellow PC users unite. not that either is great, but you guys, hold on. Anytime I sit down, I'm off center, it bothers me. Anytime I sit down with someone that has a Mac, I have to help them like try to do something. I don't know what I'm doing. You can't click the freaking buttons. It's so frustrating. I was like 2 weeks ago, Shelly and I were working together, Shelly's Millions, and I was she didn't know how to take files off of a memory card from a camera. And so I was like, I bet I can just figure it out real quick. And those Macs, you can't click them. They're not intuitive. I'm going to get a lot of angry comments in the chat for that. Melrose Honey says, housing is key. Says, wait, and they will have them approved for many, but they lack people that can actually approve it. I'm waiting for additional assistance, waited 5 or 6 months for the first payment. I'm really sorry that it's taking so long. I'm glad you received the first payment because that took an extremely long amount of time. I really hope your second payment comes through soon. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I have disabled super chats on my live streams. You know how you can pay money and then your question pops up bigger? I've disabled those just so I can get through the general chat without the paid questions. But I appreciate that. Okay, Unity Planet at 7:42 had 2020 taxes prepared, which included a Schedule C. One of the 2020 tax pages shows same self-employment income from 2019. I only have found one check from a customer for 2021 so far. I wrote an affidavit. Okay, I'm a little confused here on what you're asking exactly. You had 2020 taxes prepared. What is the year that your claim started, your unemployment claim? If your unemployment claim started in year 2020, then they want income taxes from tax year 2019. So make sure that you send the year prior to your unemployment claim start date, in addition to that second year that's in there. But the one that they really want to see that they will not approve you without is the year prior to your unemployment claim if you were self-employed. So make sure that you do, in fact, send that one over. Okay. All right. Melrose Honey planned on an affidavit, some text messages, and print those as affidavits, some emails. Okay. Scrolling down. Well, Winder, you're gonna move to Elk Grove from Fresno permanently. Give me my neighbor. I quit my job. Can I apply for unemployment? If you quit due to something that is beyond your control, that was basically, it's not a voluntary quit, you're moving for a different purpose, then you may qualify. You will need to apply and see if you were approved. They're going to contact your previous employer. They're going to ask the reason why you left. And if it was due to no fault of your own, then you may qualify. Okay. Chris P., I submitted for a UI claim late December 2018, was incarcerated for first 3 months of 2019. I called EDD in late May to tell them what happened. They accepted my UI claim and it began in early June. Okay, so First, what's the question? I'm not certain what the question is. Maybe maybe there'll be more information that comes through with a question here. And let me know more details and how I can help you. Mr. Richards, is being an Uber driver a small business? No, being an Uber driver means that you are self-employed, but it's not necessarily a business because you're working as an independent contractor for a third-party company. So you're a gig worker. They're going to pay you through, let me clarify that, because I said independent contractor, but that's not technically the right term there. Uber and Lyft and other app-related programs, your gig worker is kind of the common nomenclature for it. But tax-wise, you're going to be a business if you are someone who is self-employed, earning your own income that is not through an employer, and you claim that income on a Schedule C, then you're self-employed. Now you're a business if you file a business license, take out a tax permit, and you're then going to go along with all the other paperwork that comes with that. If you need to file a seller's permit, if you need to file an EIN number, a DBA, etc. But gig workers are working for someone else doing those temporary jobs. So you are self-employed, but you do not have a business. You would be a sole proprietor, but you are not a business owner. Can you still get rental or mortgage assistance? And I'm slowing down because I just realized I said sole proprietor when I meant to say self-employed. Rental assistance, yes. Mortgage assistance, yes. The problem is that the rental assistance program has money. They are still accepting and paying out claims, but they are going to run out of funds in the near future. Now, they do not have enough money to pay out all of the applications that they have received, but they are still accepting applications and approving them in the order of who needs it the most according to their determination. So it's not necessarily a first come, first serve program. Now, with that being said, rental assistance should be receiving another round of funding. What happens with rental assistance funds is that the states are given a certain amount. The states then use that amount by a deadline. If they have not used the full amount by the deadline, then the federal government recoups all of the unused funds and redistributes it to the states that still have a need. So California has requested a large amount of additional funds and only received a very small amount last time. So there is going to be at least one more round where the federal government takes up all those unused funds and redistributes them. So California should receive more money on that. Mortgage assistance just opened last month. It's a new program. It just got started. There's definitely still money there. So make sure that you apply. Okay, give me a sec to get a drink. ET, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. I'm going to go over here, scroll down. There's a wide variety of questions today. We're jumping around a lot in topics. All right, Uni, I exhausted my claim balance, but my claim isn't expiring till 4/22. But I'm scheduling a phone interview to see if I qualify for a claim. What does it mean? I'm confused. Okay, so there's a few different questions here. Number one, if you have a phone interview to discuss if you're qualified, it means that the EDD needs to speak to you, ask you a few questions about your eligibility to see, kind of to make sure that you actually qualify for the benefits that you have already received. This often happens if your employer has submitted information to the EDD that doesn't directly line up with the information that you submitted on your application. So they might have something from the employer regarding how you left your job that might possibly disqualify you if they don't straighten it out, and if they don't figure out that you in fact are or aren't qualified, they might have just a numerical value plugged into your application that doesn't line up with what an employer stated, or they might need to ask you questions about something that you submitted on your biweekly certification, such as if you answered that no, you were not available to work full-time, etc., then they need to call you and discuss those red flag questions. So there can be a variety of reasons why they need to talk to you, but in general, they're going to be asking you mostly questions that are either things that you already covered on your application, things about why you left your job, or things about the answers that you gave on your biweekly certifications. Now, with your next question, you exhausted your claim balance, but you don't expire until 4/22. Unemployment grants you 26 weeks of benefits, and those benefits can be used anytime over the course of your benefit year, which is 12 months after the claim start date. Now, if you use up those 26 weeks worth of funds, then your claim is zero. You do not have any more benefits to use. At this point in time, there are no additional extensions, no pandemic extensions. So you are not able to receive any more funds until you reach the end of your benefit year, and if you qualify for a brand new unemployment claim after the end of your benefit year. All right, Steph S. at 7:48. My documents were approved and I now see I have a claim balance available on my account. I stopped my claim at the end of 2020 and never filed for an extension. So why is there a new claim balance? Your documents were approved. I have to read this again. You stopped your claim at the end of 2020 and you never filed an extension? Yes. I'm not certain. Perhaps your documentation showed a higher income than what you claimed on your application. If that's the case, then the EDD may have automatically recalculated your benefit award amount because you qualified for more. That's the only thing that I can think of. The other thing would be if you had filed for a backdating request previously. Maybe it's been so long you've forgotten about it. But that wouldn't increase your claim balance. It would just kind of shift when you received your payment. So my only guess is that your documentation showed a higher weekly benefit award amount, but you would need to call into the EDD to know for sure. All right, scrolling down. I'm at 7:51. Mr. Richards, how do you send it? Super chat is turned off for me. I'm not accepting donations in this chat, but thank you. You'll just need to ask your question in the comments. John Mark, just at 7:55. My partner was on SSDI. He was about to start a part-time job when the pandemic happened. He got PUA, and now they want proof of work, but he wasn't working yet. Okay, so he was about to start a part-time job. He would have had some sort of a job offer, a written job offer letter, emails corresponding with the job, something, right? They had to have spoken in some way and had those terms agreed upon. So you're going to want to, he or she is going to want to provide that documentation of that promised job. So however it was promised, if there were emails, if there was messaging back and forth, if there was a formal written job offer with terms or a contract, send those documents to the EDD as verification. Additionally, or if there isn't a clear job offer letter with the company name, with his or her name, with the date, etc., then you will need to reach out to the company that was going to hire your partner, and they will need to provide a signed affidavit. All the business information on it, the contact information, and the claimant's name, saying that they were going to provide them a part-time job, but that it was canceled due to the pandemic. The important thing is that you show that there was a job offer and also that it was canceled due to the pandemic. El Toro, I just want to say hi. Thank you. I hope you're doing well. Would an affidavit in his 1099s be okay? Yes. So send an affidavit, and if there's 1099s, then yes, send those. But you'll want to show that there was a job offer and then that the offer was canceled due to the pandemic. ET, thank you very much. Hi, Shelly. Kelly girl. 8 p.m. Dally V. Hi, Jenny. Can you make a video about how to purchase an LLC name for a business trademark name? I'm not diving into the LLC topic on my channel because that contains some very specific legal information that honestly I don't want to touch on. But how to trademark a name is a different thing. How to establish an LLC, I'm not going to be doing videos on that because it's a long, complicated process. In my opinion, is that you need to consult an attorney on doing that or have a third party do it for you. But if you're not talking about that, you're just talking about just getting your name trademarked, then yes, I can do a video on that. Okay, Preston, if I do my 2019 tax return, should I do both federal and state or just federal, enough for the verification? Also, can I list cash income without having 1099s? Okay, so if you're doing a 2019 tax return, do you do both federal or state? Yes, you're required to claim that income both in the federal level and on the state level because you are subject to self-employed income taxes. So you have to do it all. Also, can I list cash income without having 1099s? Yes. If you're self-employed, you aren't necessarily going to be receiving any 1099s. You would receive a 1099 if you are an independent contractor. Well, a 1099 NEC you would receive if you're an independent contractor who's contracted to do a specific job from an individual or a company, and they pay you $600 or more, then you'll receive a 1099 NEC. You'll receive a 1099K through a third-party payment processor, such as like Venmo, PayPal, etc. If you, well, the rules just changed. If you this year in tax year, we're talking about 2019, back in 2019, you would only receive a 1099K if you did 200 transactions or more and received $20,000 or more. So most of the people who are filing self-employed income taxes, they would either have 1099s if they were contracted or used a payment processor like that, but a large amount of people will not have 1099s because you're just simply your own established business working with your customers and your clients, collecting payments either through cash, check, credit card, etc. So yes, cash only income, yes, it should be claimed on the tax return, and yes, it's okay to not have 1099s. I'm really glad to hear that I helped you, ET. Thank you for letting me know that. Erlyn ML 801, trying to maintain your energy. Watch, it's boring. Yeah. These streams are really boring, you guys. I was apologizing profusely to my moderator, because she works for me. She's my part-time employee, but she's like my really good friend also, but these are boring. And I was apologizing to her for having to moderate another one. So I sympathize. Yeah, they're boring. Chris P, responding to the first question you submitted. Okay, Chris, I did lots of your questions, but I don't know what you're referencing. I'm sorry. Did that one. Myra, where do I apply for mortgage assistance? Let me get the link for you. You're going to apply at, let me grab it, and I probably should have just had, I think that my moderator has this link, so I don't know why I'm looking it up, but I already did. There's the link for you. It's camortgagerelief.org. Okay, got that one. They just automatically add new claim. They've been just automatically adding claims. They have no idea what they're doing. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Maybe you're talking about new claim is not going through a proper procedure with verification. I'm not sure. Unity Planet, you're welcome. Chris P, you were on UI with PEUC, unaware with PUA included. Need to show work documents for PUA 19 through 2020. Last job was in late 17. Didn't do 2019 taxes. Yes, but what, okay, I think that what happened, if you were on UI and you were unaware that you received PUA, what I think happened with your claim is that for some claimants who had UI and then they had a PEUC extension, there was a very brief period of time for, I think, only about 2, possibly 3 weeks where PEUC extension lapsed. There was new legislation in winter of 2020, and that new stimulus legislation took a while for it to be actually updated in EDD's computer systems. Now, once it was finally updated in the systems, then people continued receiving PEUC. But for some individuals, they had either a gap in their payments, or they called into customer service, or an EDD rep saw this and applied PUA as a brief extension so that they didn't have a gap in their benefits. This happened for a lot of people, and now they have to explain and provide documentation for those weeks of PUA when they actually shouldn't have really even received those weeks of PUA. So it's kind of weird. So for you, if you did not have a job in 2019, but you did qualify for UI, I would call in to EDD, honestly, because you could send in your 2017 income taxes, but those are going to be rejected because it's not the year that they want to see. I would make sure that you call into EDD. I would tell them your situation and ask what to send, because I can't really advise you here on this because it's kind of a unique situation. You weren't employed. That tax year from when you were employed before is not going to be approved. So call in and ask the representative exactly what you should send in. All right, James Long, 814. My unemployment claim exhausted in September 2021. What is it they're looking for to qualify me for a new claim? What is it exactly? Can you explain that, please? Okay, so in order to qualify to receive unemployment benefits, you exhausted September 2021. Okay, so in order to receive a new claim, you must have reached the end of your benefit year, which you have. You need to have worked within the last 12 months since the start of your current unemployment claim. So from that start date of your unemployment claim up until now, you must have performed some work. You must have specifically have earned $1,400 in your highest earning quarter in order to qualify. So you need to look and see if you earned that much. There's a calculator on EDD's website, but what that calculator does not factor in is that you must have had that work occur since the start of your most recent claim. So you can't be on an unemployment claim and then collect a subsequent claim without having performed that chunk of work in the amount of $1,400 or more in your highest earning quarter, not in the whole year. Okay, Fast Few 2. I've been waiting 4 months for rent assistance. I'm really sorry to hear that. Please contact your assembly member. Hattie's going to drop the link. Contact them, let them know. They might be able to assist you. They might not. But either way, it's still going to be helpful in getting the program fixed. Why? Because when you contact your California assembly members or your California senators, it puts pressure on their offices. They start receiving lots of calls on one particular issue. Housing is key. Then they are going to start to follow up with that organization. It's going to start to come up in their meetings and their hearings, and when they propose what organizations need to be audited, and if any new legislation and changes need to be made. So please call into your assembly member's office. Hey says, I'm never boring. I am frequently boring. All of these questions. I don't know how you guys do it. How do you sit through this? Why do you watch my videos? Okay. Oh, get out of here. Let's see. More documents at 6 o'clock above. Oh, my friend, I don't know what you mean. Can't scroll up in the chat. Hopefully I already answered your question. Box Truck D, 817. Can you buy badges here? No, I have that turned off because most people that are here are having financial struggles. And so I want to be able to just get all the questions directly from the chat without people needing to pay to have their question read because of the nature of the content. So just enter your question in the chat box, and I'll do my best to get to as many as I can. James Long, my claim was exhausted in September 1921. And I have attempted to file a new one. I'm having trouble with ID me. What is it they're looking for that qualifies me for a new claim? Okay, so if your claim exhausted in 1921, and okay, so there's two different things here. Number one, you're wondering what's required of a new claim. And I think I answered that a few minutes ago. In order to file a new claim, end of your benefit year, which if it was 1921, then you definitely have reached the end of your benefit year. And then number two, you have to have performed work since the start of your last unemployment claim. Specifically, you must have earned at least $1,400 or more within that last year. Now, next, you're having trouble with ID me. Okay, if you're having trouble with ID me and you're not getting identified properly on ID me, number one, this sounds silly, but this is how you get help the fastest. So please do this if you're having trouble with ID me. You're going to go to twitter.com, and then you're going to look up Blake Hall. Let me actually grab his link here because I have it. You're going to look up Blake Hall on Twitter. This is the CEO of ID Me. Now, if you send him a tweet, you include his name at Blake Hall, exactly how it appears on his page with the little dash underneath. And then you say, I'm having trouble with ID me. Can someone please help me? Then their staff will see that. They search for that specific tag, and then they will help you. Many of my viewers have had their problems fixed by reaching out to them on Twitter. It's the fastest way to get help. Okay, Apex Predator at 819. I only had a job offer from the employer. Is that enough, or do I include affidavit as well? Yes, include an affidavit as well. If you had a job offer from an employer, include not only the offer, but also include whatever correspondence you two had letting you know that the job offer was canceled due to the pandemic. Have them write an affidavit, you yourself write an affidavit, and then also provide the job offer and provide the cancellation of the job. Okay. Sarisa at 821. I have DBA paperwork, professional liability insurance, esthetician license from 2019, and school closure notice. I think you're asking, will that be enough? Yes. So if they're looking for 2019, because your claim started in 2020, they want to see the year before your unemployment claim started if you're self-employed. That esthetician license should do the trick. Additionally, the liability insurance, yes. The DBA paperwork, yes. And school closure notice, yes. Send all that over. All of that should be good to go. Any one of those items should qualify you because they're specifically, let me correct that. Any one of those except for the school closure notice should qualify you to show that you were self-employed prior to the pandemic, because those are all things that had to go through a third party. They have your business name on it, but you do also need to make sure that they list your legal first and last name on it somewhere. The problem with having a doing business as name in the EDD is that if the documents you send in only state your DBA and they don't state your first and last legal name, then they don't have any way to tie those documents back to you. So you're going to need to make sure that somewhere in that paperwork, there's a clear connection between you and your DBA, which you have, your DBA paperwork. So you're good to go. Now, school closure notice, let me talk on that for a minute, because many of you, this is going to apply to. Many of you have the schools closed and you were not able to either start self-employment or get a job because of that. The EDD needs to see not only that the school was closed, but they also need to see proof that you were trying to be self-employed or work in some way. So that's why sending just a school closure notice is not going to work out well in most cases. You would want to send a school closure notice as well as proof that you were trying to work, get a job, or start or resume self-employment. You have to show all of those things. Okay, let's see. Did that. Yes, please. Okay, got it. Did that one. Lawn at 8:21. I sent my EIN documentation as proof of claim, but was denied. What's my best route now? Okay, that is an error unless it was for a year that they didn't want to see. Now, if you are self-employed, the EDD wants to see the year prior to your unemployment claim. This contradicts what they said originally. Originally, in the letter that they sent you, they gave a date range. They gave a range that spanned 2 years in most cases. 2019 through 2020 was the date range. So 2 separate tax years is what I mean to say. But recently, about 3 weeks ago, and I've done videos on this, the EDD stated very specifically in their newly updated details, and let me show this on screen because might as well show that, be specific. The EDD got very specific in what they will or won't accept. Okay. The majority of the information on this page was not originally included in their what documents to send page. And this is updated a couple weeks ago. Now, what they state here is that if your tax return or 1099 are from the same year your claim began, you must provide additional supporting documents to prove that you were self-employed before the start of your claim. Now, if you're sending in a document and you're self-employed, and it does not include the year prior to your unemployment claim, then you may be rejected. So that might have been what happened with your your EIN. If your EIN was rejected for that purpose, then that could be why. Additionally, if your EIN was filed using only a doing business as name and not your personal first and last name, then they wouldn't see that your first and last legal name is tied to that EIN number. So if you're not operating as a sole proprietor using your first and last legal name, then that might also explain the problem. So what do you do now? Now you're going to call into the EDD. Call in. You can use Claimer if you want to call in and get through faster, or you can just redial over and over again. You're going to ask to speak to a Tier 2 representative. They're going to put you on a very long hold line. You're going to hold. And then you are going to talk to a Tier 2 rep, and you're going to tell them that you sent in what you believe was correct information and that you were denied. Can they explain to you why you were denied? Ask them next if you're able to submit other documentation. If they see that it was a mistake, then they should be able to fix it over the phone as long as you're calling in right away. So they might be able to fix it right away, or you might be able to ask them to send more documents, and they can send that upload documents link to your dashboard. If that does not work, then next you're going to need to file an appeal. Fill out the appeals paperwork that came along with the denial letter, if you've received it. And then you're going to have to undergo the appeals process. Your document is going to be seen by a judge. They're going to say, yep, you definitely were a business, and then you'll be all set. Okay, what time is it? 8:32. How many more questions am I going to do? I'm going to do 5 more minutes, and then I'm going to go. So we'll see how many questions I can get in 5 minutes. Okay, I did that. I'm like getting hunchy because it's getting late. Did that one. I did that one. Preston, thank you. I'm glad that was helpful. Joshua Lewis, 821. I filed a claim and my balance and wages are 0. What do I do next? Your wages are 0. If you filed a claim and you were awarded a $0 balance, that is a denial. Next, you're going to receive a letter letting you know that you qualified for $0. That means that you did not qualify. So perhaps you did not work and earn enough income within the last 12 to 18 months, depending on if you had a prior unemployment claim. You must have earned at least $1,400 in your highest earning quarter. If you had a previous claim, it has to be within the last 12 months since the start of that claim, or within the last 18 months if you did not have a prior claim. Sue at 822, my daughter got unemployment for 7 months until September. Can she open a new claim again? No. If she had unemployment that, sorry, it's not a flat no. If she had unemployment that was pandemic unemployment assistance, meaning that she was self-employed and wouldn't normally qualify for unemployment, or another scenario that's pandemic related, such as school closures, etc., all of those programs ended in September, and PUA, PEUC, etc., no longer exist. So those pandemic related programs, no, she cannot qualify for those. If she is an employee, was an employee, and has reached the end of her benefit year, 12 months after her claim start date, then she could potentially collect more once she reaches the end of her benefit year and has worked within the last 12 months and earned $1,400 or more in her highest earning quarter. In that case, then she would qualify for a new regular unemployment claim. Okay, I did that one. Well, you're just talking to each other. Your favorite TV show is Ginny Live. You gotta watch some, Debbie, you gotta watch some better shows. This is like the most boring show out there. But thank you. James Long says, if I work the month of September, do I qualify for unemployment claim, a new claim, $1,400 or more in 1 quarter? So how much did you earn is the question. Bjorn Free, if EDD is only asking for proof of self-employment, not net income, is it a good idea to file 2019 tax return if uncertain if exact figures will match initial EDD application figures? So here's the thing. You're not going to like my answer. In my opinion, it is a good idea to file your income taxes because you're going to be square in the eyes of the IRS. You're not going to have penalties and interest accruing. You're going to get that taken care of. You're not going to have the potential to pay back all of your benefits. If you had a claim that was a $20,000 claim, some people have had $30,000 claims, and you have to pay it all back because the EDD is not able to verify that you're self-employed, etc. That's a big deal. If we're looking at your figure is not matching, that's also a big deal because when you file that application, you are asked for exact numbers on a government form. So you do have to have those exact numbers submitted. And if they aren't exact, then you are subject to paying back the difference of what was inaccurate. Now, if you are sending in information to verify that you were self-employed, and the numbers don't match, will they cross-reference and will they look in your account and will they notice that and will they issue an overpayment? They very well can. At this point in time, that the document that they're requesting from you is for a specific purpose to verify that you were employed or self-employed and lost and had that history there. But at any point in time, if you, number one, submitted a false statement or inaccurate information, then you will be subject to an overpayment notice, 30% penalty for issuing a false statement, and 10% interest. So this is a big deal if you don't have clear figures that were submitted. So I would clean it all up. And you're not going to like my answer here, but if you want things square so you don't have to worry, because the EDD can come back and collect these overpayments for, I think it's 4 years, but watch my EDD Pershing Square Law from video on appeals about this. I think it's 4 years. They can collect what they need from you if you submitted a false statement, inaccurate information, etc. I would do the tax return. I would correct the statement that you made. Would be honest, my personal opinion. Okay. Aiden at 826. I didn't start self-employment until February 2020 and only have 2020 tax returns with Schedule C. Will this be enough for PUA work history verification? Okay, so you didn't start until February 2020. When did your claim start? So the EDD wants to see proof of your self-employment or self-employment plans prior to being unemployed. So if your claim started in 2020 and you send in 2020 documentation, they have stated that they will reject that they want to see the year before, even though this is a discrepancy between what they stated in their original letter. So will 2020 Schedule C? Not if your benefits started in 2020. They want to see 2019. So what you need to do is not send in a 2019 blank tax return. You need to show that you were planning to be self-employed at that time. So it's kind of weird because if you just send in 2020, doesn't that show that you were planning earlier to be self-employed? Because you had to plan it before, right? It happened. So it's not right. But if you just send in 2020, it's most likely going to be rejected. Send in 2020, but also send in all of your other business documents, and something needs to have a 2019 date on it. So look for business licenses, doing business as or fictitious business name statements for your EIN number. Look for any way that you represented yourself online, such as a website, social media, email accounts, domain name, like payment processing platforms, contracts, invoices, anything like that that you set up. And also send a signed, dated affidavit. Okay, I don't have an ID. You're homeless HUD emergency voucher. I don't qualify based on no ID. Now what? I'm sorry to hear that. They're going to need to be able to verify your identity in order to qualify you. Is there a way around it? There's no way around it. You're going to need to be able to verify using ID.me, and they're going to require some form of a photo ID. So unfortunately, you're going to need to get that taken care of in order to collect. The ID verification must go through. Fast Few, you're very welcome. Okay. I'm going to do just 2 last questions and then I'll be all done. Let's see. All right. Ang for all kind, 833. I was a makeup artist for film and didn't make much and do not have proof. I'm part of an LLC connected with my family and paid taxes. My taxes are paid, but not for my freelance makeup job. Okay, so this is what, if you're part of an LLC, then you would be listed on the, where it lists out the members. So you would be a member in an LLC. You would have that information listed in your articles of, in your articles that you have to file with Secretary of State, then you would be listed there as a member with the LLC. So you're going to pull your LLC paperwork, and this is on public record with the Secretary of State. So if you're having trouble locating your LLC paperwork, then you're going to go to the Secretary of State's website. You're going to look up the specific LLC name, and you can actually find your articles there, and you can find your Secretary of State filing there, and you can pull those down. those should list all names of the members in the LLC. So if you're part of an LLC, then pull that down and send that over to the EDD, and it should clear you. Okay. Sparkwell Antoni at 834. I have $6,000 that was on my balance at the end of my claim year. Is there a way to get those funds? No. If you are, if your claim year has ended, or if you're PUA and it has ended as a program, PUC, etc., no, there's no way to recover that balance at the end of the year, or when those benefit programs ended, then the programs ended. There's no way to recoup that. It is all done. Okay, David, 834. My 2019 tax return Schedule C shows I made $7,185 as a musician with two 1099s. Also, $6,000 for studio and music storage. I got PUA and unemployment in 2020, 2021. Will that help me? So I think you're trying to ask, will your Schedule C work as work history verification? I'm guessing that that's what your question is when you say, will that help me? So if you are trying to verify your work history and you received unemployment starting in 2020, you need to send in your 2019 Schedule C. And yes, it has that income on there. That's all you need to send in is your 2019 Schedule C. I would also send 2020 just to be safe, give them more than what they need, but they very specifically will want that 2019. Lon, you're very welcome. Sparkwell Antoni, yeah. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I like to be, okay, so here's the thing though. I like to be upfront about this. It's not philanthropy because I profit from my channel. So this is work for me. I mean, I'm helping you guys, but you guys are also helping support me because this is a job for me and YouTube does pay me. But I really appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, Jameson, Rent Relief has sent an email on January 5th stating that they would send a check to tenant within 10 to 14 days, and it was a final decision. Claim shows money as dispersed as of last week. Delays. Okay, I cannot tell you exactly how long it takes to arrive once it says dispersed. That's a good sign, but I would expect 2 to 3 weeks once it says dispersed as a loose estimate, because everything in that program is extremely delayed and seems to take about 3 times longer than anticipated. I hope it comes through soon for you. I'm sorry. All right, Rabbit to Rabbit at 840. I didn't earn the amount I estimated on my PUA claim, but I was looking for other work and can prove that. Am I still in trouble? So you should not have estimated on that application. That application is a document that asks you what was your actual income. And you need to be able to have documents to prove that. So if you estimated, then yes, you're going to be subject to possibly needing to pay back the difference. Now, you were looking for work. That's good. But you're going to need to actually prove 2 things, potentially. What the EDD is looking for right now that they are asking for is EDD is asking for PUA work history documentation, proving that you were self-employed or employed or had a promise to start a job or were trying to be self-employed. They're asking for you to just prove that right now. However, at any point in time, if they find that you submitted a false statement on your application, and yes, a guess at what you earned is a false statement, or if they find an error, a discrepancy in numbers, etc., at any point in time, they can issue you an overpayment notice because you were not, in fact, entitled to receive those benefits. And they have, I believe, but I have to double check, 4 years after your claim ends to do that. So I would correct that so that those potential penalties don't continue to accrue when and if the EDD catches that. All right, Haley. Submitted notarized signed affidavit copies of checks from a business I did freelance work for January 4th, 2019 through March 12th, 2020. Business card and W-9 2020 today. Hopefully this gets approved soon. Okay, so you'd sent in copies of checks and a business card and a W-9 from 2020. If your claim started in 2020 and they want 2019 documentation, and it's just copies of checks that you did freelance from, they say that checks and invoices would be approved, but it's going to be safer to send in your tax return. So if you have your tax return, then please make sure that you send that in. Okay, Josie, thank you. I appreciate that. Fast few. You're afraid to email your assemblyman, Brian, and complain about housing is key because they might deny my assistance in retaliation. No, they're not going to deny you on that. No, contact your assembly member. Let them know that the program is slow, that this is the delay you're experiencing. Be kind to them. Ask them if there's anything that they can do to help follow up with them. And if not, then at least the office is receiving information about that program. You are not the only one complaining about this program. There are many people that will call their offices about this. So no, it's not going to result in a negative aspect for you. All right, Michelle at 842. Hi, Jenny. Would my contracts with Grubhub and DoorDash work as proof? Yes, they would. Make sure that you are sending from the proper year. Because you're self-employed, they want to see the year prior to your unemployment claim. So send in your dashboard information. Contracts, yes, will help you with that. That's totally fine. But if you were working with them, then you would have filed an income tax return. Send that in also. Okay, you guys. That was my last question. I actually got to the end of all the questions. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right, you guys. So once this video turns off, I end this live stream, your job is to go drop me 5 random, they can be like fast, random emoji comments, whatever, in the comments of the video as soon as the stream ends. It really helps my channel if you guys are leaving multiple comments, even if they're silly little emojis, to help boost it in the YouTube algorithm. Okay, you guys, I will keep you posted on developments with blanket waivers. I will look into rental assistance, which I don't think I'm going to get any new info on that, but I'll keep trying. And I'll see you guys next time.